What is up, guys, and welcome back to another gardening video. I know it's been a while since I've posted, and yet again we have more changes to introduce to you guys. It's been like 2 months since I've posted a video, so I thought it was about time that I made a video today, December 3rd, I believe. And we're just going to go overview of the plants and how they're doing and what the new changes and expectations are to come. Now, if you guys are watching, make sure to like and subscribe because I make plant videos for you guys and I bet you guys enjoy them. So yeah, let's not waste any time and get straight into it. Let's start with this section first over here. So if you see, we have the potted plants, right? The potted plants always used to be over here, or we used to have them like around this area, but we had to put them in here just in case if it got too cold to where they couldn't handle it. Right now it's actually pretty fine right now, so it's not really necessary. So it's unzipped right now, both of the zippers, so the air can enter and they could have more air. I don't know, I just left it open for now. But yes, they're in here just in case if it gets cold, because if you guys don't know already, it's going to get colder here in Houston in a good amount of time. Probably in a couple of days it's going to start cooling down, and that's when the official winter is going to hit, where it's actually cold. As you can see, the Musa Bajus have not taken a beating just yet. Unfortunately, this one actually didn't make it. It just was turning brown, and I just ended up cutting it off, and yeah, it just didn't sprout back. It's kind of a bummer to see, but it's okay because it will definitely get replaced by more pups, and it will either grow back or get replaced. So it really doesn't matter. But the Musa Bajus are doing just fine now. I bet they're going to be all droopy in a couple of days, so we're going to have to look into that. Over here we got the Chinese tallow. As you can see, this thing has grown a lot. It's literally almost as high as the basketball hoop here, as you can tell, which is actually kind of insane. It just proves how high it is higher than 10 foot. This is a regulation rim, which is 10 feet, and yeah, as you can see, it's a lot higher. So that means it's higher than 10 feet. So that's crazy. And this thing has been only growing here for like what, 2 years, 2 to 3 years. So yeah, that's what an invasive tree species, how fast it grows. So it's kind of cool, and we really don't mind it being here, so we just decided to take care of it as long as it doesn't get other pups everywhere around here. So that's fine. Here we still have some of the potted plants, but these are different because they have plants that can actually survive out in the cold. We have the oak, southern liver oak, some loblolly pines, and then another loblolly pines, which if you don't know already, they're those pines over there, just little saplings. And of course they're going to survive the cold because they're used to it. Over here, these are some plants that we got out of a pot, out of some roses, and we just decided to plant them and see how they would do. And they don't seem to be doing super good, so I just decided to leave them out because it wasn't really worth putting up more space in there and sacrificing another plant that could actually be good and do something good. So I just decided not to put it in there. And then we got some more that I planted in there, same thing. There we got the sago palm, if you don't know already. It looked a bit better earlier this year, but as you can tell, it started to fade out a bit and it's turning brown. But that's probably normal because for some reason, but it'll probably push out some new growth by spring, which is nice. Here we have the African lilies, I think, which is still trying to come back after some time. It is unfortunately too late for that. And apparently a pot was on it the whole time, which is actually kind of weird. That's no wonder why that thing couldn't grow, but it's still alive regardless, which is actually, it shows how strong the plant is. Even while being covered by a whole pot, it still wanted to grow. And the final palm in this section is actually the windmill palm, the Trachycarpus fortunei. As you can tell, this thing looks amazing, full, green, and beautiful. If you're wondering why it's cut more on this side than the others, it's because we have to walk through here and it was necessary to cut it. But regardless, it looks full and green. It looks amazing. Definitely one of the best windmill palms we have here in our garden. So yes, now that we've went over this section, let's go towards the separate sections over here. We're going to start off with this, or we're going to follow off with this row right here. And I'm sorry if I'm going kind of fast for you guys. I'm just trying to summarize it and just go a little bit faster because I know my videos are way too long and it might cause to bore you guys out and stuff, especially because it's going to turn night. It turns night a lot earlier now in Houston, like at 5:30. So yeah, I have to hurry this video up before it turns dark outside. And yeah, just for those reasons. Anyways, here we have a pine. I forgot what it was called. I think it's the blue spruce, I believe. And as you can tell, we planted it here. This is actually the spot where the old sable palmetto was that died. We had to replace it. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you should probably go watch another video about that after this video. But yeah, so if you guys don't know already, we had a sable palm. It died. It spear pulled, and it was such a bummer because it was literally like the best sable palm I had. But luckily, I have some seeds to replace it. So I'm gonna seed grow some sable palms to replace that. And yes, this pine looks amazing, as you can tell. No transplant shock, and it's still growing really well. It did have some red branches there, but I cut them off, and it seems to be perfectly fine. Now, as we move on to this next plant, this is the lemon tree, if you guys don't know already. This thing has been here for a while, maybe like 2 years. Sorry for the dog barking there, but this thing has been here for like, what, 2 years now? And yeah, it's been pretty pushing out lots of growth. It's been coming back every year and has not produced any lemons just yet, but I think when it gets to a good size, it'll definitely be able to produce some lemons. And it's been here for a while. I bet you guys have seen it in some of my older videos. These two were not here. So this one right here is the apple tree. If you guys don't know already, I had an apple tree that I sprouted from seed and grow from seed, and now I decided to plant it especially because these are cold hardy. I believe they should survive the winter and come back every year. So that's amazing. And as you can see, this thing already has a really good solid base, and I think it'll definitely do maybe good around here. But it's a test, and if it doesn't, we could always replace it with another plant. But hopefully this thing does good because it looks amazing right now. And as we created these two new areas just for new plants. Here is where we planted, you can't really see it because the leaves have fallen off a bit, but this is where we planted the crepe myrtle tree, and I thought it would look really nice over here when it grows. Unfortunately, the leaves are dying off, and yeah, because of the winter, since it's coming. And yeah, sorry about the dog barking again. Big interruption here, but yeah, the leaves are falling off and it's just not looking too good, but I'm sure by spring it'll definitely push out new growth. And if you guys are wondering what this plant is over here, this is a peanut plant. If you're wondering why, we have a basket over there filled with peanuts, corn, and all that stuff, and literally squirrels drop raw peanuts somehow and they land over here and it just grows a plant. Normally, I probably would want to take it out of the garden bed because I don't want other plants getting here since this is the main plant supposed to be growing here. But I just thought it would look cool if there's a peanut plant right next to it, so I just decided to leave it there. But yeah, it's really cool how just peanut plants just grow everywhere because the seeds literally go everywhere because of the squirrels or birds, whatever picks it up. Here we have the magnolia, of course. It's been here, the house, for a while now. It's always been here since my oldest videos. And if you're wondering what that is an ant pile, dead ant pile. Yes, a lot of ant piles around here and they're huge, but it died. So the magnolia looks good and it definitely recovered from that brutal summer last year. And yeah, as you can tell, got a little branch down there, and we get a southern liver oak is what it seems to be growing down there, which is really nice. And yeah, it looks a bit ugly down here. We do have to fix it over the time, but that will wait for now. Here we have the same rose bushes and all of that, which looks really nice. And then we have the aloe vera, I think what it's called. I forgot what it's called. That we planted it here recently, but we decided to cover it because it doesn't do really well with the cold. The aloe vera, it's the medical plant that people use for medicine. We decided to cover it because it might not do so good with the cold, so we decided to protect it somehow with some sort of protection. Now this is where things are going to get interesting. Now that I pointed at this huge tree, as you can tell, it got heavily trimmed, if you guys didn't know already. And I forgot if I showed this in my last garden video, but it got heavily trimmed and it looks so much nicer. It has a new birdhouse, which is actually really cool if you guys want to see a closer look. And that is the corn with the peanuts and all of that. As you can see, there's a lot of freaking peanut seeds and corn seeds, all plants growing out around here. It's actually kind of crazy if you think about it and look at it. Now, here is the beauty. Here we have a date palm. Now, this is amazing because this is seed grown and it's huge. If you can't tell already, it's huge. It's seed grown and I've grown it from seed and it looks amazing. An actual date palm that I've grown from seed. It looks absolutely beautiful and I've been trying to protect it. But I realize it's not necessary just yet, but I definitely do need to protect it when it gets to freezing temperatures. But yes, that looks really nice. And we're definitely gonna go to our next one. Let's see here. Oh, I can't believe I skipped this one. This is another Trachycarpus fortunei, a windmill palm. And this is probably the first one that, actually no, I like the other one that looks a bit better in my opinion. But this one's a lot more full and a lot more leaves. Some are a bit yellowing, but it looks amazing as you can tell. Very beautiful windmill palm. Our second best windmill palm in my opinion. Or actually it might be first, I don't know, they're both really good. Well, you get it, it's a good windmill palm. Lots of nice spears pushing out, a lot of new growth, and a lot of it has not gotten damaged, which is amazing. That is truly such a sight to see. And now I'll just might as well go with this plant over here. Let's go with these plants. Here we have the orange tree. As you can tell, it has grown a lot and they have trimmed it back and it hasn't produced oranges ever since. It only produced oranges like once or twice and it never did it again. Oh wow, you have a pretty big spider there. Oh, you want to be careful with that. Anyways, yeah, it's a really cool plant. It's very nice and it's an actual tree if anything, so that's really nice to see. And yeah, it looks amazing. Hopefully I'll produce some more oranges soon. Here we have a Mexican fan palm, Washingtonia robusta. As you can tell, it looks horribly beat up. And that is because I try to put the bag on it to protect it, but it turns out that it wasn't even as cold as necessary for this guy. So it basically put it on for nothing. And I decided to take it off until it actually was going to get cold so they can get sunlight and not die. And water if it rains. It was going to rain one of these past few days, so I think they should get water first at least. It looks very nice, and I mean, not the nicest, but it's still green. That's what I meant. It looks nice by being green, and yeah, and the bush behind it as well, which I'm not really sure what it is. Now here, the king of this garden has to be the Musa Baju. This thing has to be the biggest Musa Baju that we've ever had. I mean, I definitely think it actually beat the old one that we had, the mother plant. And surprisingly, this thing hasn't even produced flowers. Like, what kind of Musa Baju this big has not produced flowers? This thing is literally a solid way more than 10 foot for sure, probably like 11-12 feet, and it's tall, massive. The trunk is literally, I can show my hand with this thing, and yeah, you can tell how big it is, and it's produced so much pups. And keep in mind, this big plant was just a pup rooted out of those over there. I just planted it there just to see what happened, and boom, this whole thing just sprouted out. Amazing, beautiful. Here we have the sea grapes, which is a common tropical plant, and this thing has grown a lot since the last freeze that there was, or winter that there was. And as you can see, it's growing pretty well. I mean, it's pushing out new growth, and I really like how it's looking. I also tried to protect it with a plant and realized it wasn't necessary, and it also fell off on its own, the bag. And along with it, we have another Washingtonia robusta, Mexican fan palm, from seed that actually looks pretty good, and I also looks a little beat up too because I try to protect it as well. And again, I took it off because it wasn't necessary. But yeah, these are all doing good. They're healthy and they're nice. I'll definitely be protecting a lot of these soon with the trash bags. We really don't have cloth yet. I was thinking about getting cloth, but if we're already going to put bags for like a bit, then it might just work out as that. Here we have another bag as well to protect the palm. This is another Washingtonia robusta from seed this time, so I want to be extra careful with this guy. I believe this guy was from Aruba, a seed from Aruba. So that's really cool. And yeah, the trunk is pretty thick for a little baby. It's really nice. And it looks really good. As you can see, one of the fronds unfortunately got a little damaged when I tried to protect it with this little bag. But that's okay, because I would rather a frond get damaged than the whole plant dying, you know. And right here, of course, we got another peanut plant that tried to grow from over there, which is actually kind of crazy. They're everywhere, I'm telling you guys, everywhere. Right here, we got two sable miners. You guys know I'm a big sable miner fan. They're beautiful, they're amazing, and they're just really cool plants overall. And it's just really pretty. They're like the sable palms, but just like they grow a lot smaller and they're not as big. And yeah, it's really nice to look at, and they look really good condition. They did get a bit brown in those fronds, but they still look really good. Now, the one that I'm concerned for here is the Trachycarpus fortunei, another one. Now, this windmill, as you can tell, it's been through a rough time, you know. This thing barely has like what, one frond on here, and it's not thriving. It's struggling to stay alive. But the good news is that it's green, it's sturdy, and it won't pull out, so that's amazing. It had so many other fronds, but they all turned brown. So our last hope is that that frond does not turn brown. And it seems to be strong and green. So I do still have some hope for it, but I'm definitely concerned for that windmill, because that is not a normal behavior for a windmill. I mean, literally, we have two more windmills over there, and they look amazing compared to this one. This one just looks horrible. But yeah, hopefully that comes back, and I'll definitely give you an update for you guys with that. And now the final plants here, which are just bushes that you guys have been knowing for a while, rose bushes. They actually turned really beautiful this year. As you can tell, they're producing some really exotic looking flowers, and the leaves are purple, which is actually really pretty. With the same bush over here that we don't know. I don't know what any of these are called, except for this. This seems to be like some sort of rose bush or a type of flower bush, but I'm not sure, again. And then some sort of grass there, tall grass or something. But yeah, this is the whole garden update, guys, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and like and subscribe, like I said in the beginning of the video, because I try to post as often as I can, but it's definitely hard for me since I'm so busy with a lot of stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.